Today, everybody, we are here in Harmon and proudly bringing you today's episode of the Hotspot. I'm Jason Salas. Let's go.
The menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the Fresh Garden Bar.
Here's what we are working on today. A fire broke out in a two-story home over in Talampago last night. We'll bring you the very latest. Nationally, the former president pleads the fifth during a civil investigation. We're also going to tell you how the Inflation Reduction Act affects Guam and the CNMI. Tomas Manglotnia joins me in a few moments, and we take you to another amazing island real estate with properties in the tropics. Today, we're headed down south. But first, we take you to central Guam, as it was quite the scary sight over in Talampago after fire broke out Wednesday evening. According to GFD spokesman Nick Garrido, at around 8:25, units responded to a reported structure fire at the corner of Talan Azucena and Route 4. Upon their arrival, flames and smoke could be seen coming out from the windows on the second floor of the concrete construction. Obviously, you see on your TV screen very, very alarming things. The fire was under control just before 9 p.m. Luckily, all four residents of the home were safe and no injuries were reported. There's no word yet as to what may have started the fire. The police officer indicted for the fatal shooting at the Shell gas station in other news this past March pled not guilty to the charges. His lawyer says Officer Justin Kenga acted professionally in a highly volatile situation, and he accused Guam's Attorney General of politicizing the case. Nestor Lecanto goes into details.
Officer Kenga is charged with manslaughter and negligent homicide in the death of Iope Rudolph, who was armed with a slingshot and was shooting at passers-by at the Shell gas station along Marine Drive near Waisangsong Road. An independent investigative team that responds to officer-involved shootings brought the charges, and a grand jury returned the indictment. But Kenga's attorney Curtis Vandeveld says his client acted professionally.
It's extremely important to remember that this was a volatile situation, and he was acting appropriately as a police officer. The government simply is presenting this case, I think, for political purposes, because the AG is running for re-election. They don't have the courage to make the right decision not to prosecute this case. I'm saying he did exactly what a police officer is charged with the responsibility to do. And this is not something where he went out looking for someone to shoot them. This is a very volatile situation where there's reports of somebody who's armed, and he simply did what the circumstances required him to do.
Vandeveld was critical of the indictment, which he says puts police in an almost no-win situation.
You can't put police officers in a position where they are susceptible to being prosecuted simply because they're trying to do their job. We recently have seen in the news the Uvalde school shooting, and there's ample criticism of police officers relative to that school shooting and other school shootings about inaction. So when the police officer does act under the high pressure of a volatile situation, they're damned then. So they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't.
He expects the case won't be dropped and will likely proceed to trial. In the meantime, he says his client is coping as best he can.
Justin has felt that he is not guilty of any wrongdoing, continues to believe that, and he's trying to adapt to the circumstances. No one enjoys being charged with a crime, particularly someone who's innocent.
For KUAM News, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Well, in response to Attorney Vandeveld's accusation that the AG is politicizing his defendant's case, the Office of Attorney General spokesperson Carlina Charfers did issue a statement to KUAM late Wednesday afternoon, in which she stated, quote, "This incident took place during an election year and is not something within the control of AG Levin Camacho or the Office of the Attorney General." She went on to say to blame the grand jury's determination on political motivation is disingenuous and threatens the integrity of the criminal justice system. And as convenient as it may be, she writes, doing so should not be part of any defense strategy. Charfers also adds that Kenga's case was handled the same manner as any other case within the independent investigative team process, and the group was established to improve transparency and accountability. Charfers says after a thorough review of all the facts and evidence collected, the team determined that the shooting was not clearly justified The evidence was then presented to the grand jury panel, who found there was probable cause to charge Officer Kenga with manslaughter and negligent homicide. She concludes by noting that they understand this is a difficult situation for both the family who lost a loved one and the officer who reported to work as any other day, ready to serve his community. Elsewhere on island today, 40-year-old Jarrett Atoigui was arrested and charged with three counts of fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct as a third-degree felony for the alleged sexual assault of a 14-year-old girl. Court documents state that the victim told GPD officers that the incident took place on August 2nd when she was watching TV. Atoigui approached her and allegedly grabbed her breast and inappropriately touched her genitals. According to the victim, she pushed Atoigui's left hand away, but he continued with the assault. He told her not to tell anyone what happened, with the victim also reporting to officers that on July 31st, she woke up to Atoigui rubbing her feet and proceeded to touch her thighs. She told him to stop, and he left. In national headlines, former President Donald Trump pleaded the fifth during his deposition with the New York Attorney General's office Wednesday. The probe is part of a long-running civil investigation which began in 2019 into his company's real estate dealings.
Former President Trump gave a thumbs up on the way to his deposition at the New York Attorney General's office, where he declined to answer questions under oath. Mr. Trump released a statement about invoking his right against self-incrimination, saying in part, "When your family, your company, and all the people in your orbit have become the targets of an unfounded, politically motivated witch hunt, you have no choice." The civil investigation is looking into whether the Trump Organization inflated the values of multiple real estate properties to get favorable loans and tax deductions. The AG's office says it's collected substantial evidence that could support a lawsuit against Mr. Trump or his company. Former President Trump has also been lashing out about a separate federal probe into whether he illegally took classified material from the White House when he left office. In an extraordinary move Monday, the FBI searched the former president's home in Mar-a-Lago, seizing boxes and paper documents, some of which are believed to contain classified information. President Trump's lawyers have suggested, without proof, the FBI may have planted evidence, and Republican allies are calling for transparency.
All right, and joining me now live in studio with matters of huge national or local and regional implications is my colleague, regional correspondent Tomas Menglona. Now, Tomas, you've been following a big story that just broke. What can you tell us about this Inflation Reduction Act?
Yes, Jason, the Inflation Reduction Act is being lauded for its sweeping health and environmental impact, including on Guam and in the NMI. When it comes to renewable energy, offshore development, when it comes to wind leases specifically, have actually been essentially banned here. But as we discovered, President Joe Biden is expected to sign it into law in the next week, which would open up offshore wind development to the region for the very first time.
I think it was Puerto Rico that took the lead on this. And I've been pushing for this, and I think they are, in a more mature position than us here in the Northern Marianas in how to transition from fossil to, in this way, clear energy, and they need to get that ruling out of there.
The Inflation Reduction Act is expected to pass the U.S. House this weekend and make it to President Biden's desk for signing. Sablan says it's a pared-down version of the Build Back Better Act. A key difference, the act removes a rule that banned the renewable developers from wind energy leases in the territories. Eric Melito is the president of the National Ocean Industries Association, representing offshore energy in wind, oil, gas, and carbon sequestration for the past 50 years.
It's actually more of a historical remnant of the way the statute was originally set up. This goes back to the 50s when they first defined what a submerged land is, and it was defined that back at that time to be waters that were off U.S. coastal states, and it didn't include territories, and it just was never changed.
Now that it's changed, the Interior Department will conduct a feasibility study for the territories before any projects break ground.
That's a process that may take 5 years before we get there, but it's a with this language in the bill, it's a start. It's a start for the transition from oil, diesel to clean windmill energy. Saipan has 45,000 people, if not less. I don't know if there's, a market ready enough to take on this endeavor. But if it is, and the federal government can help, this is where it starts.
Melito says that start requires aggressive government action.
In order to make this happen, it takes a lot of work on behalf of your government to attract it and to kind of make that part of your power generation network. So what we've seen in the Atlantic coast is that those states have taken independent action to require offshore wind within a certain amount of time to be put into their power grid.
The legislative change allowing that to happen, he says, is long overdue.
The legislative authority is critical for the industry to begin looking at areas in places like Guam and other territories to potentially actually make the investments, but also for the territorial governments to begin taking seriously this as an investment opportunity and an opportunity for diversifying the energy in your backyard.
And what could our backyard look like?
When you look at a island like Guam, it could be a relatively simple and straightforward project where you could have floating wind turbines, which it's a new technology, but it's coming along rather quickly. There are projects in Europe that are taking off when it comes to floating wind.
That would require drawing investors and for utility companies to find ways to build infrastructure to tap the wind farms offshore.
All right, well done, Tomas. Landmark implications for our island way of life here. Has it progressed thus far as it not just being a policy-like idea, but how close are we to actually realizing?
Right. Well, as Kilili said, it's going to take a few years. Right now, what it's triggered is the actual feasibility, that feedback that they're going to get from developers. But it was interesting to speak with the National Ocean Industries Association rep who's based in D.C. As you heard in that piece, he's especially excited about the new prospects of what he's exploring with floating wind turbines, which he says is meant for deeper waters, which we have here offshore in the Marianas. So we'll definitely be following this closely. Once the president is expected to sign it in the next few days, of course, with Vice President Harris breaking the tie in the Senate, it's expected to pass without any trouble. But we are reaching out to Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, and we'll get reaction from Governor Torres and the NMI as well, as this definitely does fall on the shoulders and responsibilities of the local government once it's in full effect.
Absolutely essential to be sure with a recession, many people believe just on our footsteps. So thanks so much, Tomas.
All right, thanks, Chase.
Great job as always.
Thanks.
All right, please stay tuned, everybody. We are going to check in with our friend. But before we get to that, here is another installment of Properties in the Tropics. And today we take you down to beautiful Molesto to see an absolutely gorgeous home.
Properties in the Tropics is presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Half a day, I'm Madeline Campos.
And I'm Sam Ravens.
And you're watching
Properties in the Tropics.
It wouldn't be a property in the tropics if a little rain didn't come before the sunshine. Officially named Molesto and formerly known as Maritzo, this village is the southernmost tip of Guam. Molesto houses a variety of outdoor beauty. Grab some yummy pickles and burgers at C&J's along the way as you take the fam to some sightseeing in the main center of the village. The Molesto San Dimas Catholic Church, Maritzo Convento, and the Bell Tower are some of the island's oldest and most treasured landmarks. And of course, let's not forget, sitting in this village is the historical Cocos Island Beach Resort, which now shares the vicinity with a new Bikini Island sensation.
Just a few minutes away from these hotspots is 179 East Demetrio, Menno Street, Molesto, a bright, shiny house overlooking the magnificent Molesto Bay. This single-family dwelling is available for $24.50 per month and offers 2,000 square feet of living space. A perennial favorite of southern tenants, this home features split levels so you can live in the sky or nestle in the cozy first floor quarters. Step outside and lounge or entertain on the large elevated balcony or the spacious yard. If you'd like to learn more about this Southern Belle and all the surrounding charm it has to offer, give us a call.
Outstanding agents, outstanding results. That's us, Madeline Campos
and Sam Regis, RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
Join us next time for another episode of
Properties in the Tropics.
Properties in the Tropics is presented by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
I actually know that house down in Molesso. Very, very beautiful. So hopefully you can make that the home of your dreams. All right, please stay tuned, everybody, because we are going to take a pause for the cause. But when we come back, get ready to lace up your shoes because we're going to tell you all about a run-walk event taking place this weekend to help our friends at the Guam Fire Department's 22nd fire cycle. 2 of the recruits are with me, and we're going to talk all about that next.
The KUAM Care Force, along with partners Guam Animals in Need and the Boonie Fly Project, are asking you to join NBC Universal in their nationwide effort to clear the shelters this August. We're encouraging our community to get involved, donate to these organizations, and adopt and foster pets to help our growing stray animal population on Guam. For the 8th consecutive year, NBC is raising awareness and funds in their local communities to support animal welfare. Since its inception in 2015, Clear the Shelters has helped more than 700,000 pets find new homes. Join us all August long for live reports on KUAM News HotSpot and Primetime, special news series, My Pet's Story, a weekly series on KUAM Digital showcasing heartwarming stories of pets who found loving homes, weekly posts on KUAM social media platforms featuring pets in need of homes. Let's do our part to clear the shelters and support animals in need.
With Pacific Points, your everyday expenses could be helping you save. Earn points at Shell, Foodies Guam, and IT&E. Then redeem for awesome rewards. Want free fuel from Shell or snacks from Foodies Guam? What about discounts on your IT&E bill, free IT&E prepaid cards, or United Mileage Plus miles? Sign up for free today. Visit PacificPoints.com or download the app. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
As the Decision 2022 race shapes up, keep it with KUAM News for all the news you need to know as you head to the polls. From weekly candidate profile analysis on the hub on KUAM News Hotspot to our online candidate directory on KUAM.com, special features on KUAM Digital and KUAM News Primetime, plus live coverage of forums and debates. We're your one-stop source on every platform. Stay informed with KUAM News, your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
Snacks. We got diapers for baby girl. Oh, 7:15, we gotta go. Bread, milk. Gas for work. Remember to grab Joe Boy a birthday present. Half a day.
Hey, Molly, how much do you pay for daycare for the kids?
Over $600 a month. It's expensive.
Did you hear about the governor's program that covers up to $675 a month for childcare?
Wow, that would be a lifesaver with the rising cost of everything.
Check guamchildcare.com to apply. We qualified. I even booked an appointment for someone to walk me through the process.
guamchildcare.com. Okay, thanks. I'll apply today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by DPHSS.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Got a question about your finances? You've come to the right place. Bring all your accounts together, even those that aren't with us, and see the big picture, right down to the smallest detail. Unlock powerful tools like Insights and Money Map that help you save time and take control of your finances. When you connect accounts with the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, It all starts with yes.
KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hotspot. Our friends at the Guam Fire Department are undergoing the 22nd fire cycle. So, young men and women are going to soon be saving our lives and watching our back as full-blown firefighters. They're just a couple months away from graduation, and to offset the expenses, the fire recruits are holding a 5K and 2K event on Saturday. And joining me now are two of the fire recruits from the 22nd cycle, Sean Mendiola and Christopher Roslin. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. Welcome to KUAM.
Jason, thank you for having us. We're
you.
excited to be here. It's a great opportunity to speak with you guys again.
Right on, man. Are you guys this motivated in training? High speed, up tempo, and ready to serve Guam, right?
Very motivated.
There you go. Okay, I want to talk about all this 2K, 5K because this is fantastic. But I just want to talk about, you know, we've been following your journey. Our Jonogan Charfis has been doing like a bunch of stories on how all the members of the 22nd cycle are doing. How has training been for you guys on a personal level, and how has the camaraderie been, and how have you guys come together as a team?
Well, I mean, we've been in training for the past 3 months already. You can definitely see the difference as far as the first month goes. A lot of physicality. We didn't really know each other then, but you know, through suffering and everything like that, everybody forms bonds. So we've definitely, you know, been instilled with like discipline. The cadre staff has been amazing. You know, they've been teaching us a lot, especially because we are here to serve Guam. You know, we're here for the community as well. So they've definitely been harping on being there for one another, especially, you know, for people of Guam. So.
And if I may, you are actually coming into GFD from prior military service, right? So you know all about, you know, putting your lives in the hands of not just your colleagues, but, you know, like your brothers in arms and everything. You know the difference that it makes when you really have someone that's going to go the extra mile for you. What does that mean to you?
Well, that's the whole reason why I wanted to join GFD in the first place. You know, I serve my country, now I want to serve like my community, and at least for me, the way I see it personally is I've always been interested in a higher calling, and this is definitely one of the places where I can get it, so it works out good for me.
Right on. Well, we appreciate, you know, us civilians really appreciate what you're doing. And now let me ask, what has been the most difficult training or most challenging part of training for you?
I think we can all agree that the most difficult part is having to leave our families early in the morning to get into training. We make use of daylight, and just having to be away from family, you know, it's preparing us for our future career, being away from, you know, special events at home that we probably won't be able to be a part of, but definitely the cadre always remind us that it's not only for us, but for our families and our community, and I think it's that difficulty that we're experiencing now will pay off definitely in the future. Right on.
And I know you guys, like everybody that signs up for GFD, you say like if someone's in harm's way, if there's a building that, you know, has been compromised or is on fire, if there's a little kid who I can't find my mommy, something like that, you guys want to be the first man up and first women up and say like, you know, I got this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we appreciate that. And so with that spirit of heroism with you, and you know, you guys have been studying right now, you guys are currently in the fire suppression cycle, you guys are dealing with all the gear and everything like that. How challenging has it been now to organize a 2K and 5K event? Well, that's its own kind of challenge.
Yeah, I think, yes, like you mentioned, on top of the high curriculum standards that we're training at, we're putting in as much of our personal time to gather the costs together to pay for our graduation. And I think we're all tired at the end of the day, I'm sure. But you know, we do make our time come together, make use of what we have remaining in this academy. But ultimately, doing these events helps with our camaraderie outside of the academy aspect of the training. So it allows us to have some free time together to get to know each other a little better. And these events are they're for the community as well.
Okay, now I'm going to ask both of you gentlemen. We'll start with Chris, right? I'm going to give you like a little pop quiz. This is nothing like, you know, like the quizzes, like the physical tests you guys have had, or, you know, learning about the physics of combustible, you know, fluids. But what is the route for your 2K, 5K? Because everybody hears like about there's a run and everything. Everyone wants to know, where do you start and where do you end?
So we're going to be starting at IPA. So the registration, we'll have the same day registration over there at IPA, pro aside. And then from there, the 2K is, if I'm not mistaken, it's at Sandcastle.
The tournament for the 2K will actually be at the JFK Hill.
Yeah,
the bottom
JFK
of the JFK
Hill. There you go.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the 5K will be
The tournament will be at the Sandcastle.
Yeah, Sandcastle. Sorry, I mixed them up.
Okay. JFK is a steep piece of property.
Oh.
Going up that hill. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
The only thing that's even more steep. I used to live in Tumon. Is Happy Landing Road. That's a challenge in and of itself. So
walking up is a challenge, but
yeah. Okay.
Pretty good.
So Sean, where do people register?
So right now we're actually we're maxed out at our pre-registration bibs. However, we are accommodating the same-day registration, which will be at the site. Showtime will be 5 o'clock. So at that time we can start registering anybody that would like to show up on that day and take part of the run. That will be $15 per person. So, I mean, what better way to do?
And there you go, like up on the screen, guys, you can see like all of those different categories. Okay, so kids from 13 and under, so even the little ones all the way up to Manamco. You guys are actually allowing like our beloved seniors the opportunity to go out and get some exercise too, right?
Yes,
oh yeah, definitely.
Very nice. Okay, so there are going to be a lot of young people probably, guys, because anytime, again, you know, we have like a fun outside activity here on the island. Kids just went back to school at GDOE and everything. There might be some church groups or kids that say, I'd like to volunteer. Do you guys need any help? So are you guys in need of any help to like pass out water, you know, clean up afterwards?
Volunteers are always welcome. The good thing about this, you know, from us 33 in the academy is even our spouses are, you know, they're getting in the mix with it. They're trying to help out as much as possible when we're at home and we're tired and, you know, we got to focus on studying or doing our homework or our uniforms. They're there to step up and be like, hey, do you need help with, you know, as far as like fundraising goes? They'll get the flyers ready, the pamphlets, everything like that. So, but volunteers are always welcome. You know, we're gonna have a lot of people down there making sure that the race is going smoothly as well. So. But yeah, volunteers are definitely always welcome.
All right. So is there any social media that people can check out, or is there any phone number that people should call if they have it?
I do have my number on the flyer as well as Chris's number.
There it is. There's your flyer right there.
Yes. So
I got a copy of that.
So we do have the contact information at the bottom of the flyers. I know it's going around quite a bit around social media. We've been getting calls daily.
You know, like on WhatsApp when it says it's been forwarded by many people. I've gotten this at least 3 or 4 times. So like word's getting around.
Yes. So I mean, I think we have a pretty decent number, and this race is actually turning out a little bigger than we expected. So we're very excited to get on that day.
All right. Okay. So, you know, I know, you know, again, the dedication that all of you ladies and gentlemen have put into becoming, you know, Guam firefighters, and, you know, the tradition that you guys carry with it. There's a long legacy of, you know, your uncles, probably your parents, your grandfathers may have been firefighters over the years. Look, I mean, I know every job ahead of you. You don't try and look too far ahead. You're like, I just want to concentrate on the task that's in front of me right now. But looking ahead to graduation, what are you guys most looking forward to when you can finally say, I've got my station assignment, I am now a part of GFD, let's get to work?
I think for me, it's just serving the community. Like I said, I'm very, I serve my country now, I want to serve my community. That's the way I've always been. So at least for me, I'm excited to get out there, especially, you know, our last cycle that went through the 21st cycle, those guys have been, as soon as they graduated, they hit the ground running like hard. So it'd be nice to go out there and give them some, you know, relief as well. So that's what I look forward to.
All right, how about you, Sean?
So I could say the same. I'm really excited to get out there and become a part of this great organization. Just to put in our time to this department, get back to the island, it will definitely be an experience.
All right, so everybody, please make sure to register. Please come out on race day, and please take part in this wonderful 2K, 5K, because we want to give the members of the 22nd Fire Cycle the best graduation they can possibly have, because you know what? They've earned it. They've put in the work, they've made the dedication, they've passed the test. So Sean and Chris and everybody in the 22nd Fire Cycle, you know, we, again, are so indebted to all of you for making the choice and wanting to have our back. So thank you, Caesar Smasi.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Please stay tuned. There is more HotSpot when we return.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
There's epic, Then there's Ultra Epic. Capture life in vivid resolution with Galaxy's most advanced camera system and the built-in S Pen that puts you in control. Every moment, every angle, from sunrise to sundown and beyond. More striking, more stunning than ever. Find the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra at your nearest iTunes store or online at ite.net and change the way you work and play.
Say hello to the first Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Want a better look at your spending? With Money Map, you can automatically create budgets and manage where your money is going. Know when you have a green light or when it's time to slow down. Maybe cook more meals at home this week. Set your goals, track your progress, and find your way to exactly where you want to be. With Money Map from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. It all starts with yes.
Lunches, snacks, we got diapers for baby girl. Oh, 7:15, we gotta go. Bread, milk, gas for work. Remember to grab Joe Boy a birthday present. Half a day.
Hey, Molly, how much do you pay for daycare for the kids?
Over $600 a month. It's expensive.
Did you hear about the governor's program that covers up to $675 a month for childcare?
Wow, that would be a lifesaver with the rising cost of everything.
Check guamchildcare.com to apply. We qualified. I even booked an appointment for someone to walk me through the process.
guamchildcare.com. Okay, thanks. I'll apply today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by DPHSS.
The KUAM Care Force, along with partners Guam Animals in Need and the Booneyfly Project, are asking you to join NBC Universal in their nationwide effort to clear the shelters this August. We're encouraging our community to get involved, donate to these organizations, and adopt and foster pets to help our growing stray animal population on Guam. For the 8th consecutive year, NBC is raising awareness and funds in their local communities to support animal welfare. Since its inception in 2015, Clear the Shelters has helped more than 700,000 pets find new homes. Join us all August long for live reports on KUAM News HotSpot and Primetime, special news series, My Pet's Story, a weekly series on KUAM Digital showcasing heartwarming stories of pets who found loving homes, weekly posts on KUAM social media platforms featuring pets in need of homes. Let's do our part to clear the shelters and support animals in need.
This year, we're expanding our Decision 2022 platform to include comprehensive coverage of the election in the Northern Marianas. Stay with KUAM News for candidate conversations on Pacific matters, interviews with the gubernatorial teams, coverage of debates and forums, and live coverage on the general election night. We're your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
Pacific Points is more rewarding with friends. Refer as many friends as you want. There's no limit. Referring friends is fast and easy. Simply log into your account on the app or website, then tap or click on Refer a Friend. Earn bonus points when they sign up and make a transaction. Earn 100 bonus points for every friend you refer. Pacific Points. Refer friends, get rewarded.
Subscribe to our KUAM News Digest, our weekly email newsletter with all kinds of information straight to your inbox. Just subscribe and we'll make sure to keep you informed and entertained with news from the KUAM News team, what to watch on NBC and CBS, and the latest promotions from KUAM Communications. Go to KUAM.com, click on the newsletter tab at the top of the homepage, register, and you're all set. Brought to you by Uno Go, Guam on Demand.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hotspot. Dave Della Sola is, of course, the man over at the Guam Department of Labor. He is the director of that agency, and he joins me now on the KUAM couch. We have an update on what's been going on with the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Waiver Program. Dave, always good to see you, my friend.
Nice to see you.
And the last time I actually saw you, allow me to compliment you and your colleagues, first of all. Fantastic showing over at the Relay for Life downtown. That was the last time I saw you, like last weekend and everything, but it was so wonderful to see so many.
We had a record t-shirt sales.
Those were nice shirts.
Over 2,000 shirts sold. So I just wanted to thank everybody that bought t-shirts for that. That was one of the hats that I was wearing in that program, and yeah, it was very good. We're still not done yet.
And so many members of our public sector coming out. I mean, we're still in the middle of so many different things, and people like yourself juggling multiple projects, but to actually do what is so core to our community is to come out and support people who are unfortunately dealing with cancer. So
everybody's been affected by that, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, we have so many balls that we're juggling, but that was one that I was happy to take charge of with the shirts and stuff.
Well, very, very well done, Dave. Well, something that isn't affecting as many people, and as cancer in our community, but something that is affecting a lot of people, of course, is the PUA program. $7 million total in waivers have been approved to date, but 1.1 more recently, 1.1 million.
Just in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, this has been a project that I know you've been working on a lot. PUA was kind of like your calling card for those 2 years and everything. I know very, very stressful times for you, but maybe just give us some context about how important it is, these waiver programs.
Well, there's never been a unemployment insurance program here in Guam. So there was a lot of confusion, a lot of uncertainty when people were applying, and a lot of them said, well, I'll just apply, and if I'm qualified, they'll pay me. But that's not how an automated system works. If you answer the questions wrong and you were approved, then you were paid, but then we circled around and found out, oh, you weren't qualified. You got that money, you need to pay it back according to US DOL rules. So that's when the waivers first came out last summer. And when they first came out, I was happy we could start waiving some people, but they came out and said that you had to follow Hawaii waiver rules, which were so restrictive that less than 10% of the waivers were getting approved by those guidelines.
And it's not like, like a waiver is a waiver is a waiver. We've got our own idiosyncrasies
here. You had to follow, the
Yeah.
Fed said, this is what the criteria is for waiving. You had to follow that. No leeway.
But the governor did go to bat for us to try and get this a little bit more
Yes.
customized to the
governor
particularities
said,
of our community.
Dave, I'm so happy. Can we start waiving because our people are hurting? And I said, Governor, we can't because it's so tight. She says, I want to fight it. And I said, good. So she wrote letters of support. She lobbied through the National Association of State Workforce Association, NASWA, a huge lobbying arm. And with her efforts in DC, her letters of support, her fighting with NASWA to get the loosening of the waivers, by March, they loosened the waivers for Guam. And that was a huge win. And a huge relief.
I remember how enthusiastic you were to say that.
We went from less than 10 to over 95% waiving abilities. Now, I do want to say, and I've always said this, if there's any misrepresentation or fraud in the overpayments, that there's nothing I can do.
Right.
That is one thing that Feds say. But if it was through confusion, they didn't understand what the program was about, they thought they were qualified and they got the money incorrectly, then they didn't have to pay it back. And some of these waivers were as high as $40-some thousand.
Which is substantial. I mean, by any estimation.
And and one of the biggest criteria, and the governor was so happy. She said, Dave, start hitting it and working it hard. And that's why I kept extending the waiver deadline, because I was basing it on the people that were coming in.
Right.
And if I saw a lot of people still coming in, it was all about helping our people and getting them the relief, because most of the people spent the money. They were using it to survive. And I understand that, and the governor understood that. And she said, make sure that we help as many people as we can. So just in the last 2 weeks, I did $1.1 million in waivers. And for a total, like you said, so far since in March, when we got that relaxation won by the governor, $7 million have hit. And I'm not even halfway through all the waivers that we've received.
Plus, you also put in a brand new computer system to handle the PUA, and it wasn't just go plug in a machine. It was also take an existing platform and integrate it and everything. I mean,
nobody wants to hear all how the sausage was made, as they said.
But I remember it was an incredibly technical, mechanical laborious process that you had to go
through. And even the date, it still is. Our software vendor got hit with a malware attack in June, and it took us 2 months to get it back up and running so that we are processing payments for the waiver approvals.
Well, let me ask you, Dave, let me use this kind of like forum to maybe allay some of the concerns and maybe some of the questions that bubble up the most. What are the most common questions that you either get approached, you know, on the street, or when you're at Kmart, or even people call the agency and say, I've got some questions about pool and everything like that. This is what I'm concerned about. What are those questions?
Well, the biggest question was, I have a waiver. What do I do? And and what I just told them is that just come to our office. We'll help you fill it out. We'll help you write up the waiver. We'll help you we'll handhold you. Or here's the forms. Just answer honestly. And that's why, like I said, I'm able to do over 95% positives. And the only reason, most of the reasons why I don't grant waivers is through fraud, or they were, use nefarious ways of getting that money.
Right.
And that happens. Our fraud rate was less than 2% versus the states, which were 30% plus. So we ran a pretty clean program. But when you gave out $808 million, you're always going to have some monies that were gotten through fraudulent ways.
Right, but I got to say, Dave, the commitment of the human resources as well as the technical resources that you were able to put together and perform at such a high tempo and everything like that, job well done, because that was absolutely amazing to see. And Guam is so much in your debt.
There was a lot of help. The governor pulled the best and brightest people that were during the shutdown and gave it to us.
Yeah.
He gave us like 60 people of cherry-picked in other agencies, and they helped us stand this program up, get out the GCC, set up the libraries. So there was a lot of people that helped us with that. And I still have a staff of about 20 people that are still doing appeals and waivers. So those are the two things that are ongoing, appeals and waivers.
Well, the other thing that I know you want to talk about, and I could get you talking about this for the next 3 days, is the job fair. Last time we had you out, we had you and Janella, your spokesperson, talking about that big job fair. Can you give us any rough numbers about how successful that was and the amount of gainful employment that we delivered to our people?
Yes, despite some of the feedback by others, it was a great success. Our employers loved it, and they are asking me when we're going to do it again. But the employer survey is out. We're waiting for those feedback to come in. But the participants, we had about 2,000 people attend. We had over 200 hired. 65% of those numbers were roughly unemployed. 35% were working but looking for better career paths or for better jobs.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Like almost 4 out of every 10 people were looking to either move laterally or scale up.
We had 90 employers there. We had the recruiters there. We had our training providers there, and I had my full AJC staff there to assist them filling out applications, testing. We had interviews. Over 200 were hired
on the spot.
On the spot, and 35% were interviewed.
And we told people about that on this very set. We're like, okay, dress well, bring your A game and everything, because there is a chance you could get interviewed right there, and they could make you an offer.
One hotel hired almost 40 people. They're right on the spot. When I talked to them, so where are they at? They're over there getting fitted for uniforms that day. So, I couldn't have asked for a better organized, and it gave a chance for the people to shop. It was looking at all the industries. I had a good cross-section of all industries, even the recruiters. They were happy because, it's all about giving the people an idea of what's out there. Right. It jump-started the people and getting them jobs and moved them forward so that they saw what the career paths, what is needed. Even our training providers, if they said, oh, I like that job, but I'm not ready, go hit our training providers, look at what kind of boot camps, what kind of services are available. So it was services that were all-encompassing, and
there you
that's
go.
what I like.
Well, 2 for 2, Dave. We got about 90 seconds left, so I want to give you the opportunity to talk about this Region 9 assessment that they did of you. So we're going for the clean sweep because very high ratings from a very high-ranking source.
Yes, we had an OSHA Fed rep come in to do a review of our program. They do it like every 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first stepped into this administration, OSHA was in high-risk status. And within a year, I was able to get it cleared. And now, after COVID, the Eric Christensen came here, and he looked at it, and we, for a couple days, reviewed some current cases, and was looking at how the write-up were and other things. And he said that, Dave, you're running the best in all the Pacific, the best OSHA compliance office.
And if there was ever a time when you think there was going to be some slippage in, operational performance, it probably would have been during COVID. But the fact that you guys maintained that operational tempo is amazing.
He said we had closeouts that were in a couple days. There's always something that how we can improve, and that was so valuable that they gave actual cases and said, you could have written this up this way, and which was valuable. But he says the meticulousness, the thoroughness that that Mr. Pangilinan ran and all the crew there was outstanding, and that was music to our ears, because we do outreach. And again, if you're a business, that's what we do. We come in, we don't fine, we don't do any, all we do is go in and help you make sure that when enforcement does come in from Hawaii, that you are covered and that you are safe and that your operations is OSHA compliant. And that's what we're all about. And kudos to the staff at OSHA for running such a great program, and hats off to them. And we just look forward to more work and more good success in the other divisions.
And we look forward to shining the light on you, because very well deserved, Dave. Thank you so much.
And I do have more announcements to come in the next couple of weeks of more exciting things that
we will doing. That cushion that you're on right now on the KUAM couch, that's your reserved spot. So whenever you're ready, you know you've always got time.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Island of Guam, for allowing us to do so well.
All right, Dave De La Sola, Viva Department of Labor. Please stay tuned. We are back with more after this.
This 22 platform to include comprehensive coverage of the election in the Northern Marianas. Stay with KUAM News for candidate conversations on Pacific matters, interviews with the gubernatorial teams, coverage of debates and forums, and live coverage on the general election night. We're your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
The KUAM Care Force, along with partners Guam Animals in Need and the Booneyfly Project, are asking you to join NBC Universal in their nationwide effort to clear the shelters this August. We're encouraging our community to get involved, donate to these organizations, and adopt and foster pets to help our growing stray animal population on Guam. For the 8th consecutive year, NBC is raising awareness and funds in their local communities to support animal welfare. Since its inception in 2015, Clear the Shelters has helped more than 700,000 pets find new homes. Join us all August long for live reports on KUAM News HotSpot and Primetime, special news series, My Pet's Story, a weekly series on KUAM Digital showcasing heartwarming stories of pets who found loving homes, weekly posts on KUAM social media platforms featuring pets in need of homes. Let's do our part to clear the shelters and support animals in need.
Snacks. We got diapers for baby girl. Oh, 7:15, we gotta go. Bread, milk. Gas for work. Remember to grab Joe Boy a birthday present. Half a day.
Hey, Molly, how much do you pay for daycare for the kids?
Over $600 a month. It's expensive.
Did you hear hear about the governor's program that covers up to $675 a month for childcare?
Wow, that would be a lifesaver with the rising costs of everything.
Check GuamChildcare.com to apply. We qualified. I even booked an appointment for someone to walk me through the process.
GuamChildcare.com. Okay, thanks. I'll apply today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by DPHSS.
Say hello to the first Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Want a better look at your spending? With Money Map, you can automatically create budgets and manage where your money is going. Know when you have a green light, or when it's time to slow down. Maybe cook more meals at home this week. Set your goals, track your progress, and find your way to exactly where you want to be. With Money Map from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. It all starts with yes.
The KUAM Care Force, along with partners Guam Animals in Need and the Booneyfly Project, are asking you to join NBC Universal in their nationwide effort to clear the shelters this August. We're encouraging our community to get involved, donate to these organizations, and adopt and foster pets to help our growing stray animal population on Guam. For the 8th consecutive year, NBC is raising awareness and funds in their local communities to support animal welfare. Since its inception in 2015, Clear the Shelters has helped more than 700,000 pets find new homes. Join us all August long for live reports on KUAM News HotSpot and Primetime, special news series, My Pet's Story, a weekly series on KUAM Digital showcasing heartwarming stories of pets who found loving homes, weekly posts on KUAM social media platforms featuring pets in need of homes. Let's do our part to clear the shelters and support animals in need.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Joining me on the KUAM couch now, two members of the Guam Army National Guard, Lieutenant Colonel Steve Warren and Captain Mark Scott.
Captain retired. I just retired today.
Did you retire?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks.
so
you can just call me Mark now, or whatever. Nerd.
Congratulations on your retirement, man. Congratulations. That's really good news.
Thanks, Jason.
So yeah, we actually have to. Okay, we got to change the graphic now. RET.
That's why I said it.
Okay. Well, hey, congratulations on a job well done. So.
Thanks, man.
We appreciate that. All right, Colonel, when last we had you here, we were talking about retention, recruitment, getting young people interested in the Guard, getting them ready to serve, making them aware of the career opportunities that await them should they choose to serve. Where are we and how much progress has been made to that end?
Well, Jason, thanks for having us on today. It's important. First and foremost, those that are currently serving, we just want to say thank you from the Guam Army National Guard for everything that you've done, your families, the amount of time it takes to train and to help out our island. We can't thank you enough. As far as our new recruitment efforts, there is a large desire to serve. We see that. There's folks that come to talk to our recruiters that are looking to join. I think some of the barriers that we're finding is that the testing criteria to get in has been difficult. And so we've been beginning to look at avenues to where we can partner with Department of Labor, Department of Education on means to allow those that are interested in serving the tools they need to get through the screening criteria for the testing to become eligible to serve.
That would be the or at least part of the ASVAB, and I know you were talking with the Department of Labor Director Dave De La Sola about that.
Dave and I were talking in the back, and we just talked to the superintendent from DOE yesterday about some of the options and opportunities we have to get individuals that are excited about serving, whether it's in the National Guard or in other services, a pathway to education, a pathway to service, and a pathway to employment. And it's really bettering those that want to better themselves.
Is the ASVAB kind of like on a graded scale? Because I remember when I took the ASVAB when I was a senior in high school, they said basically, don't get too nervous, just go in there, do your very best, take the test, and the test itself will kind of determine your path.
It does, right? Depending on where you score.
I obviously didn't wind up in the nuclear program, so
right.
That shows you how I did.
There is a baseline screening criteria. If you don't hit a certain point, it makes you ineligible. But based on where you score, you can get different jobs. And so, we're looking at avenues for those that are interested in serving in the National Guard. How do we get them to the point where they can get through that screening criteria to get to the next gate, to get through the physical portion?
Okay, can we talk about, let's go to Mark for this, the internship program. I know we're going to bounce back and forth with you and the Colonel on that, but how was that internship program over the summer, and what did the interns take away?
Yeah, it was great, Jason. Department of Education and the Department of Youth Affairs have that like they did last summer, and we built off that a little bit this year. And it's great to see the kids come out and have an opportunity to get hands-on. In fact, Steve had a couple of interns, one of whom decided to enlist, or will be enlisting after she went through the internship program, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's a nice way for the students to get out there and see what the real world is like, develop those skills and put that education to good use. And we're delighted to host it. You know, it's a part of our job, not just to fight the wars, but to serve our community. And this is just another way for us to help do that.
Now, Colonel, what did you see on the faces and maybe the eyes of these young interns? Because I know like a lot of kids who grow up on Guam, everybody's always around, you know, military personnel, but a lot of kids never get the chance to actually be like in a military like installation environment. Some people even say, I've talked to kids and I'm like, wow, the air even smells different here on base.
So I think we dispelled a lot of the misperceptions, at least with our team. You know, in the recruiting world, we need to be able to be in different locations at different times, and then having young people come and see how our teams work and how they're able to get out in the community and connect with some of the local businesses, some of the local high schools. It just exposed them to different parts of the organization, right? They understood that, you know, you can be an engineer, you could be a cook, you know, you can be a pilot, and you could also be a teacher in your community and be in the Guard. And that's something that opened their eyes, because when they think of the military, they think like, well, I have to leave. But no, here on the Guard, you stay here, you serve here, you can do various other jobs. You could be a lawyer, but still be in the Guard. And as soon as they found those parts of it out, I think it was something that was new to them and something that, you know, they had never heard before.
And I'm sure, I wasn't there, but I'm absolutely, sir, I'll bet my next paycheck on it, that the obvious esprit de corps that all of the airmen and soldiers have made a huge impression on them. I mean, we're not just coworkers, you know, you guys are literally brothers and sisters in arms.
Absolutely, and we had a fun event with them as well, Warrior for a Day, where we ran them through some of the obstacle courses and some of the engagement skill trainers. So they got a little bit of taste of soldiering as well as the work side of it. So.
Very nice. Okay, now Colonel and Mark, we got some video up here. Last time we talked about Bella, the daughter of one of your recruiters who unfortunately has cancer, but she's fighting it, you know, with that Guam National Guard fighting spirit. Can you get us up to speed on how she's doing?
Yep, so I don't know if her picture will come up here. There she is. So
there's Bella.
There's Mike and Jamie and the family and Bella. So we're Bella Strong in the Guam Army National Guard, and she just returned to Island 2 weeks ago. And this morning I talked to Sergeant First Class Regis. They're actually out in Florida, in Orlando, with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So she completed her fourth round of chemo.
Let me guess, Disney World?
Disney World.
Yes.
So
have fun, Bella.
We
love you at KUAM.
It was a 5-month marathon for the family and Bella, and she is just an inspiration to us all about resiliency. And every time she walks into a room, it just lifts the spirit. So to have her back, and then to be her with her sisters now and family in Florida enjoying time together, we're just excited. And then when she gets back, I hope to get her on here with you, and we can have a talk.
Yeah, Bella and your family, we're so proud of you. You've been in our prayers and our thoughts, and you know, whenever you're ready, there's a spot at KUAM for you. We'd love to talk to you about your story. All right.
Great.
Now, one thing I'd like to talk to you gentlemen, speaking of young people, is Mark, when you were here last time, we were talking, Colonel, with Mark about getting Gen Z interested in the military, and is that a challenge? I mean, you know, like many people say, like Gen Z, they've got their own vibe, their own attitude. They're obviously a generation that is wildly integrated with technology.
Yep.
So how have you had to maybe adjust, if at all, efforts to recruit Generation Z kids?
So a couple things that we're looking at. I think one, just being real. Authenticity is important to Gen Z. And so telling the stories of the individuals that are already in the organization. So having individuals see themselves in the organization instead of the organization telling them what they should do or be, right? So we have young individuals that are creative, both with the ability to do, you know, digital editing, and with different entrepreneurs that are in the Guard that own their own companies, just telling their stories that here on Island, what they're able to do, and kind of give them the option that they can still have those exciting experiences. They can still fly off to go to different places to train. They still get access to work on their fitness, but they can also come home and begin their careers. And I think the way those stories are told is beginning to resonate. And I think what we're looking at doing is, how do we remove the barriers to those that want to serve? And we talked about it earlier, the partnerships with Department of Labor, Department of Education, and some of the local institutions like GCC and UOG, really finding ways that we can create that path, that if you want to raise your right hand and you want to serve your island and your country, we're going to get you there.
Well, there's a lot of members of Gen Z I know who would be honored to put on the uniform and go through the training. Gen Z I know also very, very aware of financial issues and their own work. So I know the GI Bill very, very attractive to them.
Yep.
Yeah,
right.
One of my technicians is actually a financial advisor to his peer group of Gen Zs, and I'm amazed at how much knowledge they have at such a young age because it's accessible. But just to tack on a little bit to what Steve said about Gen Z and younger millennials, you can even see the difference in basic training, for example. No longer are they coming off the bus and just getting browbeaten with a lot of fear and discipline, like what happened to some of us when we were younger. You know, they're encouraging things that develop meaning, personal meaning, giving the soldiers to want to work hard on their own, with things like team building events and things that connect with service coming from a personal place inside, rather than being enforced down your throat.
So rather than beating them down, you want to build them up.
Yeah, you know, which is one step less than we went through. But we see that result when they come back from basic training and they go into you know, something like what Steve was talking about, the digital editing, a lot of creativity. And even if it's in the infantry, they'll do a lot of difficult things, but from an inner motivational point of view, which is one difference that Gen Z has.
Right.
So, you know, there's still a place for that. If you have an internal push, a drive to change your life for the better and serve your people and serve your island, it can still be done.
All right, gentlemen, very well.
But before we get going,
sure.
I wanted to leave
I got about 30 seconds.
I wanted to leave you with something. So, I know
we always got time for gifts.
School's around the corner, so to the parents and teachers, thank you for everything you're doing. To the students, get out there, work on your math, reading comprehension, take it seriously, and service is a good path. But on behalf of the Guam Army National Guard, we have what's called a challenge coin. And so
is that what I think it is, Colonel?
The sling stone of the Guam seal here on the front, and then on the back is part of the recruiting and retention battalion. We have, this isn't FD, it is the Phoenix.
It is a Phoenix.
For rebirth, for those that choose the path to service, and then the foundation and growth of the Lottie Stone. So on behalf of everything you do, we want to thank you.
Oh, thank you. Well,
well, the proper way, I got to shake your hand here. No, with the coin in it. And then you get it. And now it's yours.
It's okay. The knowledge is passed, just like the culture is passed. All right, thank you, Colonel.
Yeah, thank you.
And Mark, congratulations on retirement, man. That's fantastic. Well, you know what? And I am going to share this with our Pete Anderson because he is a retired Army himself.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's a air artillery and also in the Guam National Guard. All right, we just want to tell you guys tomorrow on the Hotspot, because of the bottom half of the hour, we are going to have the hub. My buddy Nestor Laconta will talk everything about Decision 2022. Joining him are Juan Carlos Benitez, of course, the man with the plan for the Republican Party of Guam, political analyst, UOG's Dr. Ram McNinch, and Chirag Bajwani from the Democrat Party of Guam. Thank you so much, Colonel. We really tried. Man, this thing is heavy too. You gave it to me when you shook my hand. I'm like, this is amazing. Thank you. We really treasure this, and we sincerely appreciate what you and all your fellow soldiers and airmen do with the Guard.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, for the Colonel and for now recently retired Mark Scott, I'm Jason Salas, and from all of us here, we hope you enjoyed watching the show. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.